Following the protest that commenced yesterday, August 1st, 2024, tagged #EndBadGovernance, almost all the 36 states of the Federation, including the FCT, has been flooded with protest. No fewer than 17 persons are feared killed in Abuja, Kano, Niger State, Borno, Kaduna, Jigawa, amongst others. Federal government complex looted, the APC secretariat razed. The economy counts losses as banks, ports, offices short, while the federal government begs protesters and the NBA offers free services. Thousands of Nigerians are asking the government to work on reducing the cost of living and fuel prices. They are also demanding a reversal of the fuel price hike, restoration of affordable electricity tariff, and reduction in import duties. Africa's most populous country is struggling with soaring inflation and a sharply devalued currency after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu introduced reforms a year ago aimed at reviving the economy. Now, these are the standing issues at the moment. Who holds responsibility for the numerous unrest recorded so far as a result of the protest? Also, has the numerous or enormous violence which have eroded the protest impacted on its relevance? And the biggest question of all, when will President Bola Ahmed Tinubu address the nation, if at all? Well, to discuss this, I'm joined by my guest virtually. I have on the program Razaq Olokoba is the convener coalition of civil society organization. He joins from Ilorin, Kwara State. Also joining us is Adeola Fayehun. She's a broadcast journalist, joining from the United States of America. I also have Sam Yohanna, the immediate past organizing secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Kaduna State. Thank you for joining me on the program.
Thank you for having me.
All right, let me start off with a breaking story. Now, human rights lawyer talking about Mr. Ebonlu Adegboro has asked youths to immediately suspend the protest. Now, he's the lawyer representing the Take It Back movement. On this program, when we had the PRO for the police force, talking about Mr. Muiwa, he said that the group that they had meetings with and they recognize is the Take It Back group, and they had extensive meetings with the IGP as regards how this protest will pan out. Right now, the lawyer representing the group is appealing to young persons to immediately suspend the protest indefinitely. In his words, he said, "I appeal to protesters to withdraw themselves from their various protest grounds and suspend the protest immediately and indefinitely in order to give room for meaningful dialogues and engagement with the government." My first question goes to Yohanna on this one. What do you make of this request by the lawyer?
Thank you for having me, Dapo, and good evening, listeners and viewers at home. Dapo, first of all said that our concern before the protest started have come to bear. Reason because we kept hammering that if care is not taken, this protest will be hijacked by criminals, and that has already happened.
Yohanna, are you there? Okay.
Where you protest and is not properly coordinated. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Please go ahead.
Okay, like I said, protest started. Why I said it has come to bear.
I guess we have a bit of connectivity issues with Yohanna. Yohanna, if you can hear me, please, you might just need to hold on a while. Let me direct the question to Adeola. Adeola, the second day of the protest, given all that, Nigerians have seen so far, at least according to the government, the recognized conveners of this are saying, young people, go back, suspend the protest indefinitely. Your thoughts?
Human rights lawyer, right? He's a lawyer. He knows the law. Personally, I believe that he's aware that people have been planning this protest for weeks. I'm not sure if he had said anything until now. It's funny that he's saying this when the protest has started, the day after the protest started. Now, if you ask a regular Nigerian, what they would say is that he's been bought. For him to now come out the day after the protest started to tell people that they should not protest and that it's only the Bring Back Our Girls organization that they recognize. Basically, he's trying to tell people when they can protest, and he's also trying to tell us who can protest. He's trying to censor people from protesting. I don't think that will sit well with regular Nigerians, with regular people. One thing that a lot of people are forgetting about this protest is that this is a protest of hunger. People are hungry. A hungry man is an angry man. And hunger is uniting people in this protest. Nobody is thinking about their ethnicity. When you're hungry, you're hungry. Nobody asks you where you're from before they will serve you food if you have money for the food. So people are hungry. And the price of food, if you look at why people are protesting, these are basic things. Number one on everybody's point, on everybody's agenda is for the price of food to come down. People can no longer afford to eat as they used to. It's fundamental human right for us to be able to eat. So I don't understand why a lawyer will have a problem with people wanting to eat, because obviously he has eaten. And then people are asking that the price of electricity be brought down. People need electricity to do anything. And they're also asking that the price of fuel be brought down, because people need to be able to transport from one place to another. Right now, a lot of people are investing all their salary on the money to buy fuel for their car. It shouldn't be like that. Nigerians are hardworking people, and they deserve the best. They deserve to live as human. They should not have to beg for them to eat. They should not have to beg for them to buy fuel. So he's entitled to his opinion, as a lawyer. And like I said, he knows the law. But if you ask a regular Nigerian about his opinion that he just expressed, what they would say is that, well, he's been bought.
All right. Let me bring Mr. Olokoba into the conversation. Your thoughts before we get into the details. Olokoba, can you hear me?
Very well, I can hear you. Can you hear me too?
Yes, very well.
Thank you very much. You see, at the beginning of this, the protest, when it was at the gestation period being planned, we signed a note of warning that your right to protest does not preclude the right of others who do not have interest in your protest. And that is the concern every Nigerians have, that other people don't have rights. And that is the same language my colleague from London is speaking. Nobody says you should not protest. But if you look at what has happened all over the country now, are you proud of it? Nobody is putting a tribal mark on the caution people is exercising. Nobody has mentioned religion, or tribe. The recording decimal of people who disagree with them like me is safety. If you have a right to drive in any part of the country, but officers on the road who enforce laws on road safety will tell you that you should obey safety measures. What we are saying, which my colleague and people who speak in tone is saying, is that right without caution. No, that is not acceptable to us. You are not the only people. You and people who share your view are not the only people in this country. You can't impose your disagreement with the system on the rest of the country. Kano, people were killed. Kaduna, people were killed. See, innocent young people who felt language he's using is appropriate are out now. They are our children. As much as political class also who took their children away are also the children of this country. So the way we have a right to defend our own children and take them abroad and go and keep them at a safe place so that they will be ungoverned, it's the same way we should have our conscience pricked by not inciting young men to go to the street without caution. See, there's a code.
Were they incited to go to the streets without caution?
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
I mean, telling
said that-
individuals to perform their constitutional rights to assembly, how is that inciting?
Want to assemble, that's what I'm saying. It should be guided. I led the rally yesterday, and you came there, you saw what I did. I gave everybody identity. And I told the pressmen that outside the pressmen, anybody that does not have this kind of identity, I produced over 2,000 bandanas for that purpose, to also send similar warning to federal government that these are things you should do. I have a responsibility to protect and secure the life of people who do not want to be part of us. We didn't block the road. We made our point. And over 68 media houses reported it, including your own station. And there was no incident. And that's exactly what you are telling the planners of this exercise, that there must be a leader. You have a responsibility to also protect it. If it is not guided, it will be hijacked. Of course, there are anger in the land. And there is more reason why your anger should be productive.
Okay, Mr. Olokoba, I understand that we need to go on a quick break. Of course, you pick up your point from where you stopped, but we need to go on a break now. When we return, we'll resume the conversation. Stay with us. It's day 2 of the End Bad Governance protest in Nigeria. News Central has been on top of it, bringing you the latest. Well, at this time, I still have my guest with me discussing the issues around it. I have Razaq Olokoba as the convener coalition of civil society organization, joining from Ilorin in Kaduna State. I also have on the program, joining from the United States, a broadcast journalist, Adeola Fayehun, and Sam Yohanna, the immediate past organizing secretary of the All Progressives Congress, from Kaduna State, all joining virtually. Thank you for staying with me. Now, let's backtrack a bit. Let's look at the idea behind the protest, the coordination so far, and what we are seeing, as reality. Looking at what we are seeing now and the reason for the protest, what would you say so far in terms of your assessment has been the outcome so far, particularly impressing the needs of the people? I'd like to, of course, start off with Adeola on this one.
All right, thank you so much. I'd like to first of all start by thanking my father that just spoke, Adeola Olokoba. I just want to remind my daddy that he's a well-known activist. That is how we all got to know Adeola Olokoba. He started out as an activist, he's a convener for campaigning for dignity in governance. This is how my father, got popular, because we know him as a convener for dignity in governance. This is one of the things that he's been advocating for. So nobody is saying that protesters should cause any chaos. What we are saying is that it's not right to try to tell people, to try to take away people's right from protesting. You can tell people, don't destroy properties. We are all saying that, by the way, that nobody should destroy properties. But for you to now say that people have to stop exercising their fundamental human rights, that is where you're now going over other people's rights. People protest every day. Even you protest. Right now, you were just protesting on this show, saying that people should stop protesting. So protesting really means expressing your displeasure about something when you are not happy about it. And so we shouldn't take that away from young people. We all want Nigeria to be better. I personally think that my father will be upset right now for the fact that about 17 people have been killed. So instead of blaming protesters for the deaths of the people that have been killed, I think we're supposed to blame the people that killed these victims instead of blaming the victims. And I think personally that Adeola Olokoba would be so upset about the death of the protesters that he would even lead another protest just to tell the policemen, the government, you're not supposed to kill these young people. All they want is better governance. All they want is food. All they want is electricity. All they want is to be able to afford petrol for their cars. So I don't think, instead of telling people not to protest, because what What alternative are you giving them? You have not solved the issue. You have not solved the problem, the reason why they are protesting. But now you are saying they should stop protesting. I think we should focus on the policemen, first of all, ensuring that they are with the protesters, not against the protesters, not shooting them, and that they are guiding properties, and we continue to educate protesters not to destroy anything. It was wonderful that you joined the protest yesterday. I'm pretty sure thousands of young people across Kwara State appreciate the fact that you joined the protest. So I think now, instead of now trying to censor the people, we should call out the people that have killed innocent people. It's not right that these young people have to pay the ultimate sacrifice. And we have you, our fathers, there. You are watching this thing happening in your lifetime. It will be said of you, whatever you do in your lifetime at a time like this. I think what you should do, sir, with due respect, is to focus on how the police will not shoot anybody or kill anybody else, and let young people express their displeas. Now, what do I think about the protest so far? I think people are making their intentions known. I think it's so unfortunate that the president till now has not addressed the nation. As a father, if your children are protesting, the least you can do is at least acknowledge that you know what they are going through, especially when you are the reason for the hardship that they are going through. So I think so far people have made their intentions known, and they continue to make their intentions known. The only thing that I don't understand is why we're trying to tell people to stop making their intentions known when nothing has changed. You have not even addressed why they are protesting, and you have not changed any of the reasons why they are protesting.
All right, Adeola, let me leave you for a moment. Let me go to Mr. Olokoba. I mean, Adeola said quite a number of things, and it pointed in your direction slightly. Looking at the level of destruction so far in parts of Nigeria, I mean, and then the aim, the purpose of this protest, has it been eroded?
Well, thank you very much. The protest was badly planned. And for young people who are younger than us, in all the spheres of our life, they don't want to be mentored. And that goes for Adeola too. That we want you guys to take over, but we don't want you to take over badly. We want you to take over safely and to have your own time in a manner that you'll be proud of. Any generation that is not willing to be mentored, at their own time, they will lead, but they will not lead well. When we were growing up, we had leaders ahead of us, and we take instructions for them. One of the lawyers today, speaking for the protester, was one of our leaders. I said our leader today, Femi Falani, Allahu Akaba Shorun, we follow them because we agree that protest is for 3 days. Because the right of people who feed on daily basis, which is all over the world. People feed from daily earnings all over the world. And as a result of that, they can sacrifice 3 days of their earnings for a cause, but they cannot sacrifice their earnings endlessly without giving them time to recover. So at our own time, we always do 3 days, 2 days. We allow people to go back to their work, make their earnings again, because essentially everybody must sacrifice for whatever we are doing. But that's not the case today. The NSAS protest, at the beginning, they said they don't want to see anybody as a leader, which was the first error. The same picture presented itself this time around again. The moment you try to correct our young people, they say you are compromised. That's very strange to me. Where you are in London, you have seen many people sent to jail in the name of protesting wrongly.
I mean, sorry to interrupt, Mr. Olokoba, yeah. But you said that protest must have a leader, must have a head. But wouldn't you also want to say, in the case of Nigeria, why these protests are largely nameless or faceless is because of a result of lack of trust in the government as a result of issues they've experienced in the past? Wouldn't you also want to say that's a mitigating factor? For instance, the NSAS that you mentioned. Sorry, I'm getting that somewhere. The NSAS that you mentioned, some notable influencers, was openly and subtly punished. Some had their accounts blocked. They went through a grueling experience, right? those that tried to, of course, align with the protest back then. So wouldn't you also want to say that lessons learned from all of that is what we are seeing right now?
There's no how to learn lessons, sir. That's how to learn lessons. If you are fighting for the people, you must be ready to pay sacrifice. I didn't lead the protest in Kwara State. I led the protest in Lagos State, and I left immediately because I had academic issue to resolve in Kwara. My protest was, I was the one that led the protest. It's not a protest, a rally in front of assembly, but we were asked to leave immediately with my followers, and I staged my own rally in front of Alasa secretariat. So what I'm saying in essence is that there must be a guide. The moment Honorable Adeola said you should stop the protest, I know the result they were passing on him today. And protest is not a thing that you're allowed to go for long. Go and gather experience, go and read the history of how protests end badly. It is because it is prolonged. I was part of the Ojota rally. After the seventh day, we had to call it up because it's about to be hijacked. My boys were the ones on red at Ojota. I checkmated them because they are my children. Because they are not my political, it's not the reason why I say you should go and die. All the people that died in Kaduna and Soto is needless. They are somebody's children. And young people, at that time, if we were not guided to, we will make the similar mistake the young people are making today. So the responsibility, I know the blood has grown inside Adeola, is the youth blood, and it's okay, but you must be guided. When you are being guided, you think you are being misled, which is what is the picture we are having about is having about the lawyer now.
Mr. Olokoba, let me leave you for a moment. Let me go to. Okay, let me just.
If I went, sorry, quickly.
Okay,
sir.
30
if
seconds.
I were in their shoe, quickly, sir. If I were in their shoe, the reason why they protested is to ensure that the system hears them. The president has had your issues. It is at the
Has the president really heard?
Is behaving in a deceptive manner. That's why we have to come back.
Sorry, I'm just sorry to interrupt you. Has the president really heard? Because we have not heard from him.
Yeah. No. Why? He spoke about the protest about 3 days ago, a week or so ago, that, we heard about this protest and your demands should be presented. And when demands are presented, when Labour presented their demand of 70,000, they didn't pay 70,000 this month. They'll start paying it next month. So it's only when we want to incite young men that will be asking for immediate result of the demand they are making. They say end insecurity. How do you end insecurity? You state police. And in their demand, there's no short demand of state police.
Okay.
The power sector that's epileptic, the card is on the table for the governors. Did you compare the governors to come and pick up the card on the table? That
Mr. Razaq, I'm sorry, I might just need to leave you for a moment. Let me bring in Sam Yohanna into the conversation. We lost you for a moment, Sam. Sam is the immediate past organizing secretary of the All Progressive Congress. That's the Kaduna State chapter. Thank you for staying on. We were, of course, having a conversation with you when we had a bit of connectivity issues. Sam, you might want to pick up and maybe react to what happened in Kaduna State.
In the case of Kaduna, like I said before the network started misbehaving, we had concern before this protest started that if care is not taken, it will be infiltrated by criminal elements and you want to direct the protest to a negative side. And that was what happened in Kaduna. When they started, it started peacefully. Before you say Jack Robinson, they started heading towards the government house in Kaduna, trying to force themselves into government house. And the security agents there told them to stay back, that whatever grievances they have, they can table it from there and it will be conveyed to the necessary quarters. They insisted. And Mr. Dapo, it will interest you to know that among the protesters, one of them was arrested with a rifle and some ammunition.
How could they verify this person? Sorry to interrupt you. How could they have verified I was a protester?
Well, they arrested him among the protesters.
It could have been,
it
could have been a mole or maybe someone else. How could they tell
Well,
he was a protester?
investigation will prove. Investigation will prove. But as I speak to you now, over 25 people have been arrested in Kaduna. So if you look at the picture you're seeing now, this guy you're seeing now is a member of one of the movement in Kaduna that have been destabilizing Kaduna for a while, where they kept insisting that things that happened in the last regime should be addressed in this regime. And I think government is doing something to get this sorted out. You see, I must commend the security agents in Kaduna. They behave professionally and they behave within their rules of engagement. It's unfortunate that someone lost his life in the process of the security agents carrying out their lawful duty. But like I said earlier on, honestly, it was uncalled for what happened yesterday in Kaduna, day one of the protest. In fact, they even went to the extent of vandalizing some government properties, like the Kaduna State Traffic Management Agency office was vandalized. Some of the tricycles and motorcycles that were in the custody of the agency were taken away. The ones they couldn't take away, they set them ablaze. The Kaduna State Investment Promotion Agency office, Kadipa, was they vandalized, all the glasses broken. In fact, if you notice, there was a picture of a policeman that was being rescued and taken to the hospital. That one had a gunshot. That one was walking around the Kaduna Investment Protection Agency office, where he was trying to tell them that, please, can you stay back and stop this vandalization? They went ahead and brutally attacked him, and in the process, I think he was shot in the leg.
I would like you to, I mean, you've said quite a number of things, but I would also like you to react to some of the outstanding issues that were noticed. And that is the issue of certain individuals who claim to be sponsored as anti-protesters, some of them even to cause chaos. And there are also issues of political thugs who, of course, tried to dissuade the protesters, that were carrying out their, protests peacefully in some parts of the country. So I'd like you to react to these issues. Do you agree that happened too?
In the case of Kano, story coming from Kano said while the protesters were in front of government house trying to express their grievances, people were brought in vehicles and were dropped around there. And before they noticed what was going on, they found out that these guys that dropped from vehicles started bringing out some dangerous weapons and started throwing objects at some of the protesters. In that situation, the protesters that were already there waiting in front of the government house started retaliating. And there they started fighting each other. And I think the news now spread all over town, and the looters now started looting. Even the digital, digital hub office that was built in Kano that was due to be commissioned next week was vandalized completely, where pictures were there flying, where young men and women went in, some carrying desktop computers, some carrying laptops, some carrying chairs. And you see, we see, like I said earlier on, this has always been our concern, that once this protest starts, can it be properly coordinated? Can it be curtailed by our security agents? We all know fully well that we have a manpower gap in this country in terms of the security agents, where the number of security agents cannot curtail this number of protesters. And honestly, as it is right now, I will look at it as if the security agents have been overwhelmed by the number of protesters that came out. And this is day 2, because as I speak to you right now, there are about 2 or 3 states in Northwest, that's Jigawa, Kano, and one other state that have imposed curfew right now, 24-hour curfew, because the protest was getting out of hand. As I just said, it was only Kano that imposed curfew. Our case in Kaduna, it's a little bit not too bad because the governor had made a proactive step here in Kaduna and made sure that he has calmed nerves down, and things are gradually slowing down.
All right, Sam. I'm sorry to cut in there, but I understand that we need to go on a quick break. When we return, we'll pick up from where we stopped. Stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. This is still Politics HQ on News Central Television. And of course, we are looking at the End Bad Governance protest, which commenced in Nigeria yesterday. And there are matters arising around it. I still have my guest with me. I have Adeola Fayehun. She's a broadcast journalist in the United States of America. I also have Razaq Olokoba, is a convener coalition of civil society organizations from Ilorin, Kwara, and also Yohanna. Sam, the immediate past organizing secretary of the APC Kaduna State. They join me virtually. Thank you for staying on. Now, let me start with you, Adeola. Looking at the protests so far, do you think it's driving the point of the protesters effectively? And what do you think are the missing gaps, particularly in the area of the quantum destruction being recorded and on very unfortunate loss of lives? What do you think that are the takeaways? Because this is just day 2, and the protesters are saying 10 days.
It's so unfortunate that people are being killed for asking for their fundamental human right to live a better life. I continue to strongly condemn that, and I'm pained that that is not what is happening right now from our leaders. So while I'm answering your question, I want to talk about what it means to be a mentor, because the ultimate goal of a mentor is the success of their mentees. The ultimate goal of our fathers should be to ensure that young people in Nigeria are successful. I don't know if our mentors, our fathers, are as burdened about the success of young people as they should be. A mentor provides guidance. A mentor gives advice. They make sure that you are able to go through the right direction, and that you learn from their own mistakes. But there are so many responsibilities of a mentor. And the only reason I'm bringing up a mentor is because my father said that he's trying to mentor us young people. We don't want to listen. We don't want to be mentored, especially myself. So, Alaji, one of the strongest responsibilities, or one of the strongest components of a mentor, is to actively listen to their mentee. Your generation is not listening to our generation, sir. And if we try to speak up, you say we don't want to be mentored. You say that we are disrespecting you. Your goal should be that we, the young people, are successful, that we don't have to be burdens to you, sir. So these protesters, protesters, it shouldn't even have to be these young people that will go out to protest. You already see the way things are in Nigeria. You see where the economy is going. It should even be your generation, sir, that will be leading protests that what is happening to our children is not good. They finish school, they don't have job. They are not well paid. Many of them are still dependent on their parents in their 30s. Where is that done? You should even be the ones that will be out there crying out, but you are also the government. So what I'm trying to say is, it's not that young people don't want to listen. It's not that we don't want to be mentored. But your generation has failed us, sir. And you don't like to hear that when we say that part of this problem is your generation. You don't like to hear when we talk at all, you say that we are being disrespectful. But I think if you are as concerned about the success of young people in Nigeria, I think you'll be outraged by what is happening. Once again,
Adeola, I'm also a young person, but my question is this. Are we going about it the right way?
Exactly. That's what I was about to say. The fact that some young people have been killed, sir, you should be outraged that even one person is killed. You shouldn't just tell people, okay, now go home. The president has heard. How do we know the president has heard? He has not said anything, which answers your question. Are we doing this the right way? People started out protesting peacefully. We've seen videos, sir, of young people who said that they are being paid 5,000 to go and cause chaos among the protesters. We've seen them come out. I've seen at least 3 different videos of people who said that they are being paid 5,000 to go and cause chaos among the protesters. We've weaponized poverty. Those young people that are causing the disruption because they are being paid, it's also because they are living in poverty. If our government will ensure that people have basic fundamental human rights, basic amenities, no, but how much is 5,000? It's not even enough for them to eat. more than one time. But because poverty has been weaponized, now any small thing, young people are ready to protest against protesters for 5,000. Nobody is saying that people should cause chaos. And we keep begging protesters, let's be orderly. Let's just make our intentions known. But sir, you can't tell us the president has heard when we have not heard from him. He's a human being. He can come out and address people. If your child keeps crying, sir, and you did not say anything, but you are on TV telling us, oh, the father has had, but the child is still crying. You don't tell the child, stop crying, when nothing has changed. So it's not that people want to be disrespectful or that they don't want to be mentored, but a mentor also has to listen to the concerns of their mentees.
All right. Let me move to Mr. Olokoba. Maybe, he has a few things to say, to react.
Much. For me, I listen to this kind of critique, and I'm happy when I'm critiqued. Areas where he has mentioned of concern to us, we accept it. But the ethic we have is that they don't accept their faults. Of all the things we have said, of course, we didn't provide enough mentorship for you. Yes, that's a blame for us. But for them to say that we have admitted that there are things we did at our own generation that is missing in their own generation, they don't want to accept. Everything starts and ends on social media. And that's the biggest challenge they have with their generation. So I'm not talking about you as in particular, you. And I know you are not talking to me about in particular too. You are just talking about generational issues that both of us have. We are the best listeners, the 60s and the 50s. We listen carefully to our father. In fact, when our father is giving us a direction, we don't argue with them. We ask questions. But in your own generation, you want us to listen from A to Z and keep quiet. That is not how to do it. We have accepted our own fault. Now, let's now move forward so that we'll make a sense of what we are discussing tonight. What's the way out? And I will insist that the protest is badly organized. When I traveled from Lagos to Ilorin yesterday, I saw policemen tying red on their arm and on their wrist. The person traveling with me said it is juju. I said no, it's a mode of identification because they are also infiltrated severally. So intelligence information that they all have is that tirade. People who want to infiltrate them won't know that until they get to the protest ground. And if you look at what I did yesterday too, we tied bandanas around our, because we also know that we may be infiltrated. Army, soldier prevail on me to leave the assembly. And the young people who joined me to protest have similar issue with hunger, unemployment, and depletion of palliatives also. They didn't insist. The first fracas will have been from my own procession yesterday. But we left immediately, which was what my colleague from Kaduna was saying, that
all right,
they told you people that you should not approach government house. And you were insisting. There will be breakdown of law. The law will not accept it. And that's the challenge with their generation. Everything they do, they don't want to be questioned. They don't accept critique. They don't take direction. And that's the challenge they had. During the NSAS protest, I told them that every country, including the country you live in, the USA, has a code.
But let me ask this, and I just want your response in 30 seconds. Does the government, over time, have a listening ear, particularly to the plight of young people?
Yeah, no, of course. There's a challenge over that. That the plight.
So you agree there's a challenge?
The youth in this country.
So you agree that there is a challenge?
No, the youth. The attention it has been given, and I say with all sense of responsibility, from 1999 to date, something has to be. It has to get some level of improvement. But this is what you not like. It takes two to tango. When we were in school, I joined my first protest in 1989. I did an exercise on my own to dissect Nigerians' problem. At their own generation, we told them that anytime you engage the government, you mustn't have a loose-end argument. End insecurity, and we told you that they don't end your argument like that on insecurity. What led to insecurity should be brought on board. The security architecture of this country cannot guarantee us the security we have.
Mr. Razaq, I understand. I sincerely apologize. I understand that we need to go on a break. We are coming back to your thought. Please just hold on for a second. Let's go on a quick break. We'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with us. We are still, of course, on Politics HQ on New Central Television. I still have my guest with me. Mr. Razaq, before we went on that break, you were actually trying to make your point. I want to give you 30 seconds because we're pressed for time to land.
So the youth deserve more attention. They deserve more place in governance, but they want to put it out to order. This perpetual suspicion that patience is equal to compromise. It's a big concern to them, and they need to address that. The moment you say there's no good peace on your demand, they say you are compromised. And look at what she's saying about Noguru too. And Adeola has been with you since the NSAS days. But today she said that she go back home. She has become a tongue coach. And that's the challenge they have, that generation. There's no time we ever called Falan a tongue coach. There was no time we ever insulted Ganipa Wemi. There was no time we ever insulted the Alawa Kabachono Obekora Putin. Even if in 1999 they said we should not take part in the election. We were respectful to disagree with each other. We didn't call them tongue coach. We didn't say they don't know what they are doing. But because they understand more than we do, Ghana has been in struggle more than me. Falan has been in struggle when I was in my school days. So if it guides me, even if it is painful for me to take the advice, I won't say that he's a lawyer, he doesn't know what he's doing, this and that. These are an expression of people who stubbornly don't want to take mentorship. You say you want to be mentored.
Okay, Mr. Razaq, because you were pressed for time, I sincerely apologize for interrupting you. We are really, of course, trying to manage time here. Let me go to Sam on this one. Sam, you are the, of course, past immediate organizing secretary of the All Progressive Congress, Kaduna State. The APC is actually the ruling party in Nigeria. So far, at least as of now, we have not officially heard from the president, the commander-in-chief of the entire nation. And many are beginning to ask questions, if at all the president will address the country. My question to you is this. Do you think at this time the president should personally address the nation as against statements and, of course, press conferences we've seen from other officials of government? And if at all the president speaks to the nation, what should be the content of his message to the people?
Mr. Dakbo, I overheard my guests, my colleagues on this program, saying that the government doesn't listen or it's not on the same page with the youth. Compared to previous government, this present regime of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has been a listening president. He steers her to the ground, and there are several policies that were implemented in this government, and he has reversed them. And if he's not a listening one, he ought not to have known of those policies and not to have talked of, revert the dissent. But as a party chieftain, I personally, this is my opinion now, I am pleading with the president to come out and address the nation. That will calm a lot of nerves down, honestly. And moving forward, the government have a lot of programs for the youths. I think some of those programs need to start implementing this program as soon as they can. I know they started implementing some. At the student loan program, I think some students have confirmed that they've received their alert for their upkeep, and some of the institutions have even confirmed that they've received alert for tuition fees paid on behalf of the student to various institutions. So, like I said, this government, it's not like previous government. There are a lot of programs. It's just that, you see, where there is no pain, there's no gain.
Sorry, Mr. Yohanna, sorry to interrupt you. I mean, let's just get to some of the specifics. One of the demands is that the price of fuel which of course is the bedrock, the lifeline of the economy. I mean, since the removal of the subsidy regime, things have gone up, including basics, particularly feeding, which is the foundation of this protest. Feeding, which is the foundation of this protest. So my straight question to you is this. Some are requesting that the subsidy regime be returned. Should that be the case?
The price of fuel will come down. I'm sure by the time Dangote start producing PMS, the price will come down. And you see, what they're requesting for that the price should be reverted, it might be difficult. This country was almost going bankrupt when the fuel subsidy was withdrawn. And the previous government that left only paid for subsidy for 6 months in 2023. So even as when the president said fuel subsidy is gone, we only had 1 month left. For the subsidy.
Was it about the payment of subsidy or its management? Because the current administration kept saying corruption. You know, subsidy was the hotbed of corruption. That's the subsidy payment. But 30 seconds or 15 seconds, your final thoughts, sir. So I can move to Adeola.
No. We all know that the subsidy regime was all engulfed with corruption and other things. You know, there's a former House of Reps member that is in jail right now because of the atrocities and how he dipped his hand in the fuel subsidy investigation during the regime of President Goodluck Jonathan. On behalf of the party, I am pleading to Nigerians that they should please exercise a little patience. In no time, I'm sure things will start taking a good direction, and even the food prices has gone up. It started dropping now because some of the farm produce have started coming to the market. Harvest has started. I mean, not like the way it used to be like a month or 2 months ago. So I'm sure in the next couple of weeks or months, I'm sure honestly there will be a lot of improvement. So Nigeria should please exercise more patience with this government and keep supporting the regime of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu.
All right. Thank you for that, Yohanna. Adeola, 30 seconds, your final thoughts on this segment.
So I just want to say that young people are not looking into, young people don't want you to listen to us and not say anything. It's not like we want you to listen to us and keep quiet. No, we want you to listen to us and do the right thing. We want you to do the right thing. One of the responsibilities of a mentor is to live by example. You're supposed to live by example, sir. You cannot be living in opulence and be telling young people to be patient and be telling young people to endure. My father that just spoke right now, Mr. Yohanna, said that, this government listens and just want young people to be patient. For how long? It's been more than a year. We're talking about food, sir. This is something that you need every single day of your life, sir. People don't have food. People don't have money for food. We're talking about the price of fuel more than the price of of minimum wage. We're talking about survivor here, sir. And also to Alaji, please, young people are not looking for you to just hear us and not say anything. No, we are not trying to take over. We just want you to live by example, sir. We want you to endure if you are telling us to endure. We want you to also endure. We don't want a situation where this is double standard. It's like all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. We are back to animal farm all over again. You keep telling us that we don't want to be mentored, we don't want to listen, and that we just want to take over. We want to talk, we don't want you to talk back. No, that's not what we want. We just want you to do the right thing. We want you to provide basic amenity for young people. We wouldn't even need this protest to start with. If you are actually listening to young people, you should have engaged us at least weeks ago. You should have engaged us weeks ago that people started saying that they will protest. You should have engaged us, listen to us, find solution to the problem. Don't just listen to us, find solution, do something, and lead by example. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your time. I'm afraid that's the bit time will permit. But thank you so much for being with me on this first half. That's Razaq Olokoba, convener, Coalition of Civil Society Organization, joining virtually from Ilorin, Kwara State. Also, Adeola Fayehun, she's a broadcast journalist joining from the United States virtually, and Sam Yohanna, the immediate past organizing secretary of the All Progressives Congress Kaduna State chapter, joining also virtually. Gentlemen, thank you.
But Adeola, I say a little bit patient. Don't exercise a little bit patient. Things will work out for good very soon.
You want us to die before you will do something? It's not like
you won't die. By God's grace, you won't die.
Without food, people die, sir. Without food.
Oh, Allah. No pain, no gain.
Thank you for your time.
There's no pain, there's no gain.
Thank you. Let's go on a quick break. When we return, of course, we will be introducing our next set of guests. Stay with us.